Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to MoonCon 21. Very, very exciting weekend ahead of us, and I am very honoured to be the first speaker of the weekend. MoonCon 21, hosted by the publisher Moonbooks, part of the John Hunt Publishing Group. I sound like an infomercial now, don't I? We've got an entire weekend of free online talks from the most amazing collection of authors. Fascinating talks. We've got single speakers and we've got panels of speakers, which should be really fabulous. Whole host of subjects covered. All free, open to everyone. Running today, right through the day on the hour, every hour. I think 9 p.m. is the last one. And the same again tomorrow, although we start at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So welcome, everyone. Fantastic to be part of this fabulous event. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Luna. I'm going to be giving my talk. Good morning, Trevor, the boss man. I'm going to give a talk today about, wave the book around, my latest book, The Element of Earth. So I'm going to be talking about the element of earth today. If you have any questions throughout the talk, please do pop them in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them. Good morning, Lani. Good morning, Sue. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, lots of lovely people. Welcome, welcome. I'll give it a minute for everyone to rock up. When you finish this one, there will be another one on the hour. If you don't see it, just refresh your Facebook page and it should come up. But please do ask questions throughout the day. It makes us authors feel loved. And it makes us know that there are actually people out there watching us and we're not sitting here talking to no one, which could be a little bit embarrassing, really. But there you go. So, good morning, Devon. So, Element of Earth, wave the book around again because, you know, very, very proud to be a Moonbooks author. I have an awful lot of wafflings published by Moonbooks. So the element of earth. Let's have a look at this one for today. The elements are probably something that we're all familiar working with. They are the original foundation by which all other things are made. Unification and transformation. Your two big words for today. The ancients apparently divided the world into four basic elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And let's face it, these four elements we need for survival in all of their different forms. Good morning, Alison. We use them in ritual, we use them in energy work, we use them in healing, we use them in spell work. They make up a huge part of what we do in our craft, whether you're a witch or a druid, a pagan, whatever it might be spiritually. We work with the elements in some form, but we also work with the elements in our mundane lives, in our everyday lives. Chores and practical things that we do all involve the elements in some form or another, which is what I want to focus on today. I want to look at perhaps a little bit outside the box than the normal stuff that we think of. Elements can be used individually, or we can mix and match them to add to power. I think it helps to have a balance of them all, but you may work with them differently. So I started with the element of earth, and I won't just leave you hanging with earth. There is the element of fire comes out next year, and the element of water and air to follow when I've written them. But I think earth is the one I started with because it seemed the most logical to me. Good morning, Helen. It seemed the most logical element to start with for me. For me, it's kind of the kingpin of them. You might not feel that, but for me, that's how it worked. Earth is Mother Nature. It is nature. It's our mother. It's our body. It's the land that we stand on. It's the element of stability, its foundation, its strength, its growth, and its prosperity and material things in all their forms. It's also the densest of the elephants. Now, see, we have a problem with this. There was a ritual once. There was a kitchen witch ritual, and we called in the elements, and we worked with individual elements. But when I was doing the little bit of spiel beforehand, I said elephants instead of elements. And that was it for the rest of the ritual. It was elephants. 4 elephants and the 5th elephant, which is actually a nod to Terry Pratchett fans out there. So if I say elephants instead of elements, that's it really. You have to just go with the flow. So the 4 elephants of the craft. I am not going to get it right now. It's going to happen that whole time. It's going to happen for the rest of the talk. Good morning, Laura. So that's it. It's gone. Lost it now. Earth is the densest of all the elements. It is physically manifested in stones, in rocks, in crystals, in gems. Hi, Lisa. Yeah, elephants, elements, they're all good. It is heavy, and it's also a passive element. It has associations with darkness, with thickness, and with silence. It rules all physical things and places such as the body, nature, chasms, caves, groves, fields, rocks, gems, minerals, standing stones, mountains, metals. It covers a huge amount of things. In most traditions, and I say most because not at all, Earth is located at the north of the ritual circle. It's associated with nighttime, midnight specifically, a time of silence, really, that kind of feel that you get when darkness draws in. To me, that is the element of Earth. But I want to have a look at the elements within us specifically to start off with. I think most people are aligned with one element more than the others, sometimes 2. But I also think it actually helps to have a look at the elements within us and the things that we work with on a daily basis that affect us from an element point of view, because I think it actually helps to narrow it down and try and bring a bit of balance into it. I am a fire element, but my star sign, sun sign, zodiac sign, whatever you want to call it, is water. So I think it's about bits of your personality anyway that will be associated with one element, but it's also about doing things that you do throughout the day that can also help bring in that balance of the elements. And I say, if you've got any questions, do ask them while we go along. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you have any thoughts or insights, and I will ask a few questions just to test you all, do feel free to pop them on the comments and we'll share them. We like to do a bit of interactive, like it to be a bit of give and take, because it saves me talking. But let's look at the elements that you work with on a daily basis. Everyday tasks. I think if you ask someone, and I'm asking you now, if you would like to work with the element of Earth for the day, what would you do? How would you connect with the element of Earth? What is it that you would do? Where would you go? What would you do to actually make that connection with the element of Earth, to really submerge yourself in that element for the day? What sort of things would you do? Good morning, Teresa. I think the first thing that most people were, and Luna's gone straight in there. Thank you, Luna. Gardening. Gardening is it's kind of the first thing probably you think of, isn't it? And it is one of my favorite things to do. Absolutely one of my favorite things to do. Thank you, Luna. Good morning, Linda. Have I got any cakes? Do you know, I haven't at the moment. It's still early though. It's still early. Give me time. I will have cakes throughout the day. Debbie says, take my shoes off and step on the soil. Perfect. Absolutely brilliant. I think that is when we put that skin, that connection, that contact with the soil, with the earth itself, you've got the connection right there, haven't you? Good morning, Leslie Ann. Would I mind sharing how I found out you were a fire element? It is one that I have always loved. Whenever I'm working magic, my go-to will be burning stuff. That's the pyromaniac in me. It is the element that I have always been drawn to. whenever I work magic, it's usually a candle. It usually involves a flame of some sort or burning things. So that is the element that I am most drawn to. And a lot of the things that I work with, a lot of the things I do on the daily basis are connected with fire elements. We will have a look at that in a second, but things like cooking and baking, which actually I associate with earth and fire, but they are things that I really associate with fire. My magical name, when I did meditation, connection with spirit and the divine to get my magical name, Fire Dragon, was the first one that came to me, and it's been with me ever since. So, and I do work with a fire dragon on the different levels. So in many ways, it has been something that has come to me and is associated with me. But good question. Thank you for that. Lani says, spend it in my garden. Yeah, your garden is an earth element, a really strong earth element, isn't it? It is that real nature connection. Alison said, I would work with grounding, with earthing. Perfect. I think grounding is something that we should all do on a regular basis, particularly if you work with energy of any kind, whether it is ritual, spell work, healing, whatever it might be. We need to ground regularly to release that excess energy, because it can give you a whacking great big headache if you don't. But grounding and earthing, basically getting your feet on the soil. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Luna has been weeding this morning. There's something quite therapeutic about weeding, isn't there? Pulling plants out by their heads. Or is that just me? I do apologise to them. I apologise to every single weed as I pull it out, though, but that might just be me. Good morning, Andrew Anderson. Do catch Andrew later on today. It's today, isn't it? Yes, 2 o'clock this afternoon. Andrew will be talking about the Celtic bear gods. Absolutely fantastic talk. Looking forward to that one. Hazel says grounding meditation. Absolutely. Meditation, I think, on its own is more for me air, perhaps, element, but a grounding meditation, yes, definitely got the spirit of earth within that. Thank you. Laura says walking in the woods. You can't get more earthy than the woods, really, can you? Woods, forests, anywhere like that, fields. And walking, I think, is definitely that earth connection as well. Definitely. Good morning, Eva. Luna says barefoot always. Yes, you have to be careful. Be careful where you're treading. I have been there and done this, where you've been in an open ritual and taken your shoes off. Do check the area for spiky plants, sharp stones and dog poop, because that's an unpleasant experience when you are barefoot, trust me. Good morning, Sheena. Devon says, walked our doggies on a lovely field, trees, crows, so many plants. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, I think dogs as well, for me, are quite an earth animal as well, and they've got that real earthy connection to them. So walking the dog is perfect. That's been there, done that this morning already, which is why he's fast asleep in his chair already, because he's worn out. So yes, walking the dog, definitely. Heather loves a good fire. Yeah, we like to burn stuff, don't we? Definitely. Luna says, yes, candle magic is my go-to. Yeah, definitely. But I think that's very much associated with fire for me. Teresa says, when I wake up, I tend to be in my head a lot. So I find doing light housework with intention helps me to begin my earth work for the day. Then I am able to work more directly with the earth. You've picked on one that I've actually got listed, Teresa. I think housework for me, boring as it is really, really good for the connection to earth. And I think as well, it's a boring, mundane chore. I was going to say we all have to do it. You don't have to do it, do you? You know, it's one of those things you do just before someone comes round. Or is that just me? But I think housework is definitely got that earth connection to it, and you can add so much magic to it. You can make your mundane chore into a magical one. You can cleanse with smoke as you go. You can dust using chance to clear the negative energy, to bring in the positive energy. You can, if you make your own household cleansers, you can bring in the magic of essential oils. If you're washing your floors, you can do it with essential oils added, or herbal tea bags. Herbal tea bags are brilliant to add to floor washes. So housework as a whole is a mundane thing, but I think it's very, very much rooted with the earth element. And it does, as Teresa says, it does bring you down and give you, not down as in miserable down, although it's housework. It does bring you down to that connection with earth. And also, importantly, I think it does give you that direct connection with your home. And I think it's really important to connect with the energies of your house and with your home and with the ground that's beneath your home. And housework can really help you do that. So brilliant. Thank you, Teresa. Absolutely brilliant. Hi, Debbie. Debbie says, all sounding very familiar to me. Good. We're on the right track. Laura says, I'm always barefoot. The soles of my feet are usually black. Yes. Yeah, I think most pagans have black soles of their feet, don't they? From dust and dirt and walking in the soil and all sorts. Yes, definitely. Debbie says, yes, sweet chestnut spikes hurt too. You do have to be careful. Thistles is another one that I've come across barefoot in ritual. You do have to be careful for them. Good morning, Irene. Lani says, that explains why I've managed to get 2 lots of washing done, cleaning and beds changed already. Oh, go you, Lani. Mine's still got to be done if you're free. Ready to spend time in the garden later. Yeah, housework, it has got that real earth element, and it can really give the house a whole new feel to it as well, can't it? I think it does give that kind of thing. Good morning, Ricky. Madly cleaning before guests is just the sacred art of, oh, that's a word I've not heard. Scurry funge. Oh, I like that one. I'm adding that one. Just make a note of that one. Excellent word. Yes, it is. Absolutely. It is a sacred art, isn't it? Everything in the cupboards, everything shoved away. Definitely. Thank you for that. Leslie Ann, I like to scent my dusters with essential oils. Brilliant. Yes, because as you're then cleaning, you're spreading that scent, and that if you imbue them with a bit of magic, a bit of intent as well, brilliant. It shares that magic around the house, doesn't it? Absolutely fantastic. Debbie says, first thing I do every morning is to open all the doors and windows and let in the fresh, clean air. Absolutely. That's the element of air, isn't it? It's the element of cleansing and refreshing and really clearing out the cobwebs. And although, you know, every brilliant witch, every decent witch has cobwebs. We don't clean those away with the housework because you need cobwebs for witch bottles. And that is my excuse, and I'm absolutely sticking to it. The cobwebs have to stay because I need them for working magic. But yeah, there's nothing quite like opening the windows in the mornings there and letting in that first fresh air of the day. And again, for me, I think it's really important to connect with the energy of the day, and opening the windows and letting in the fresh air is a brilliant way of doing it, definitely. Alison says, I love working with salt. Another very, very strong earth element. Yeah, absolutely. Salt is really good for lots of things. Cleansing, purification, protection. Good to sprinkle in the corner of your house to bring in protection, to clear negative energy. Be careful if you have small children or animals, though. Sprinkling around the boundaries of your property brings in protection as well. And I think salt is perhaps one of the go-to things that people put on their altars to represent the element of earth, is a little dish of salt. So yeah, definitely, absolutely an earth element ingredient for sure. Debbie says, spiders are my guests, they can stay. It's funny, isn't it? Quite a lot of people are very wary of spiders, and they are quite freaky looking, let's be honest, but they are so magical. Just they weave the web, and the web is such a reflection of our whole life, our whole world. It is the web of weird, and that's what spiders do. So for me, they are really, really magical creatures, and I use spiders' webs a lot in my magical workings to represent the web of weird, to represent my world, the whole world, to represent that web of your life that's spread out before you. So for me, spiders' webs are a key ingredient in any magical workings. Karen loves spiders, used to have tarantula. They are bizarre creatures, aren't they? Tarantulas do look furry, don't they? But yeah, very bizarre creatures, but incredibly magical. I think so anyway. So I've got some of those things for your everyday connection to earth. I've got some of the things you mentioned. Gardening, obviously, is a given, I think. Walking, just walking anywhere. For me, the actual walking motion is very earth element, because you're connecting. Each footfall connects with the ground. So each footfall connects with the element of earth. Alison says, my kids freak out when they see spiders. I'm like, whoa, they're cool, calm down. Yeah, leave the spiders. They're chill, they're fine. It's funny, isn't it? I think people do have this automatic fright of spiders. Bless them. So yes, gardening definitely, walking definitely, housework definitely. Very, very grounding, very, very earthy. I've also got charity work. I think anything connected with charity, donating to charities, going into charity shops. All of their furniture in a house is charity furniture. For me, it is eco-friendly, because you are recycling, upcycling, reusing, and then the money goes to charity as well. A lot of my clothes come from charity shops as well. Love a good rummage through the charity shops. And you can get so many brilliant altar and ritual items from charity shops for pennies. So yes, for me, charity work, charity shops, donating to charity, anything on that vein is very, very earth connected for me. Working in the greenhouse, if you have a greenhouse, it's an extension of gardening, but I think the greenhouse is a particularly earth-centered place. Just the smell when you walk into the greenhouse, you get hit with that earthy smell. Visiting a garden centre. See, I'm giving you lots of tips and excuses here to go shopping. Whether you go shopping into charity shops or to garden centres, it's for earth connection. That's your excuse. I need to go shopping into the garden centre because I've got to connect with the element of earth. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I also think cooking, specifically cooking perhaps with herbs, with vegetables, because they are very much earth connected. But I think the whole practice of cooking is very, very earth-centered. If you're using electric appliances or cookers, then obviously the element of fire comes into it as well. But I think the actual art of cooking is very earth-connected. And if you know me at all, you will know that I love to bake. So whether it's bread or cakes or cookies, for me, they are all earth-connected types of cooking. I think reading, although reading involves for me a little bit of the element of air with your intellect and your imagination, the actual physically holding a book, for me, books are really, really earth element things. And on from that is a library. Any library for me has that earth connection. You've only got to walk into a huge library and you get that smell of the books and old paper. It is a huge building full of the element of earth, as far as I'm concerned. Luna says the little ones are fine, it's the big ones. I think it's the ones with spiders with the little tiny bodies and the great big legs that are a little bit freaky. Laura says feet kissing the earth. Yeah, any connection where your feet make that impact onto the earth is very, very grounding. Lani says earth is very grounding as well. Yep, earth, soil in any form is really, really grounding. Just a simple grounding exercise to put your hands, palms of your hands on the floor. Jenny says, hi Jenny, I love charity shops. I've got to get in for a rummage since they reopened. Yeah, I haven't. We've been to a couple of furniture charity shops, but I haven't been to the actual let's have a good old rummage charity shop recently. So definitely it's such a benefit. We benefit, we get nice things from it. The charity benefits from the money, and the planet benefits because you are recycling and reusing. So yeah, thumbs up for charity shops, definitely. Yep, Devon's there too. Charity shops always in there. Yep, absolutely. Luna says, found some fab altar items in the charity shops. Yes, definitely. For the Americans, I think you call them thrift shops, don't thrift stores. But yes, candlesticks, offering dishes, altar cloths, vases, statues, all kinds of things you can get in charity shops that are brilliant to use on the altar. And it's got, again, you're recycling, you're adding to the charity. So all brilliant. Debbie says, love the smell of books. There is something very special about the smell of books, isn't there? New books have a different smell to old books, though, don't they? If you go into an old second-hand bookstore or into a library, the smell is quite different to a new bookstore, definitely. But it has got that, for me, that's all very, very earthy. Jenny says, books can keep you grounded too. Yes, definitely. Depends what you're reading, I guess. If it's a scary horror one, you might not be grounded. It has got the element of air, because I think we use our intellect to read them. And particularly if you're reading some fantasy, then I think your imagination kicks in as well. So definitely a combination of earth and air there. Alison says, it's how book nerds get high. I love smelling books. Yeah, it's all our secrets. We won't tell anyone, Alison. But yes, definitely books, definitely libraries. Devon says, yes, they have lots of little bells, perfect for altars. Yes, I've seen bells in the charity shops quite a lot. Good morning, Lucia. Another one of our lovely Moonbooks authors, and I'm looking for Lucia's talk. Is yours tomorrow, Lucia? No, it's today. 3 o'clock this afternoon. Join Lucia. She'll be giving her talk this afternoon. Lucia says, old books are sadly the smell of books dying. Lucia, that's horrible. I think let's put it as old books that are retiring, because that's much better. That is much better. That's quite sad. Lani says, the energy in old books is a lot more intense as they have a lot of history and interesting past. Absolutely, because books do, don't they? Not just the story and within the pages, but you quite often find secondhand books have been through several owners. I've got quite a few old books that have got the inscriptions in them where someone's written to grandma or to so-and-so, love, mum. They've got that history to them, haven't they? So that is absolutely fascinating. I love secondhand bookstores. Absolutely fascinating to pick up and find those books that have that history to them. So brilliant. Yes, definitely books, definitely libraries. Recycling, we've touched on that with the charity stores. I think recycling for me is a very, very earth connected thing to do. It's saving the planet for a start. For me, that's the big key thing. But whether you do composting, whether you do recycle your paper, your glass, whether you try and make your world as plastic free as possible, for me, the whole thing of recycling is a very, very earth element thing to do, and helps keep you connected to that. And following on from that is picking up litter. I'm sure we've all done it. You've been on the beach and there's been rubbish, so you picked it up and put it in the bin. Because let's face it, humans are pretty pants at leaving their rubbish on the beach. It makes you laugh. Our local beach has signs up throughout the summer that dogs aren't allowed on the beach because of the mess they make. Really? It's not the dogs that are leaving all the litter behind. Makes me laugh. But anyway. Yes, picking up litter for me is a very, very earth-connected activity. Oh, Heather, that's better. Yes, I like Heather's description. Old books smell of intrigue and journeying. I like that. I'm going to make a note of that too. Stolen. Definitely. They have been on a journey, haven't they? It's fantastic. Thank you. Hazel, there was a group of people who had been encouraged by Westerners to wear shoes, but they said they couldn't get used to blindfolds on their feet. Excellent. That makes sense, though, doesn't it? We cover up our feet. We enclose them, don't we? We restrict them, really. And if anybody's of my age in the 80s, where you wore pointed stilettos, your feet were definitely restricted then, preferably luminous pink ones, obviously. But yes, that makes sense to me. Luna says, we're trying to cut down on the plastic in our household. It's hard, though. So much stuff does come in plastic, doesn't it? Yes, we've been making the switch as well, switching from plastic soap pump dispensers to bars of soap, from shampoo bottles to shampoo bars, from washing up sponges to cloths that you put in the washing machine. But I think it is tiny, tiny things. If every household does just one thing, then it all helps. You don't have to go full on hippie commune. Not there's anything wrong with hippie communes. And do the whole thing. Just tiny baby steps will all help. And it's all connected to the element of earth. Devon says, and picking up those little bags of dog poop that are left. Yeah, we've seen a few of those. People like to hang those in trees for some reason on the forest walks. It's bizarre. But there you go. Hi, Sasha. Sasha says, I find being massaged with patchouli oil very grounding. Well, massaging is just beautiful to experience anyway, isn't it? And patchouli oil is very, very earthy, isn't it? That whole scent is very earthy. Beautiful. Lucia says, yes, beach cleans are very important. Yes, absolutely. And again, if every person took their rubbish home, it wouldn't be a problem. But for those that don't, if every person just picks up one empty can that they see and pops it in the bin, we're all doing tiny little things to help towards it. Luna says, bamboo toothbrushes are good. Yes, we've just swapped over to the bamboo toothbrushes in our household. My husband says it's like cleaning his teeth with a cricket bat. I think that means he's not overly impressed, but you're going to have to get used to it. So picking up litter, again, for me is a very, very earth-centered thing to do. I also think visiting sacred or ancient sites. Now, I know not everyone has them within their area, but I bet there are some places that you haven't thought about. So for me, I think it is about, again, I have this thing about connecting with the energy of your land, connecting with the energy that your house lives on, connecting with the energy in your area. It will really, really help you feel centered, and it will help your spiritual work. It will help you feel at home. So for me, visiting local sites, they don't have to be ancient of any kind, but just visiting your local nature areas, nature reserves, parks, seashores, fields, forests. But do have a look in the library. There's your earth connection, into the library, and have a look to see what sacred or ancient sites there are in your area. You may be surprised. You definitely may be surprised. Good morning, Meg. I woke up wondering who was talking to me. So glad it was you. Did I wake you? I do apologise. I used to work in a second-hand bookstore. Oh, dream job. Receiving and then categorising them before shelving them. I bought all the ones I couldn't categorise and wound up with an amazing, strange library that I loved. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, yeah. Working in a second-hand bookstore would be a dream job, wouldn't it? Definitely. So I think for me, it is, we're so used to the normal or the more recognised ways of working and connecting with the element of the earth. But I think it is about looking outside at that and looking at the mundane things or the ordinary things or the ordinary places that you visit and seeing if you can connect any of those with the element of earth. Going back to the question that was asked earlier about how I knew that I'm connected to a fire element. Well, water because I'm Scorpio, but fire because that's the element that I'm most drawn to. But I do highly recommend making a list. Make a list of all your daily chores and all your activities, everything that you do, that you have to do, housework, cooking, all of work, all of your daily chores and your activities, even things like the school run, cleaning your teeth, having a shower, putting the washing on. Write a list of all those chores, and also write your hobbies on there. Write the things that you do that you love to do, like reading or cooking or painting or whatever it might be. And then do some columns, do 4 columns, and write the elements along the top of each one: earth, air, fire, water, and tick in the element columns what you think all of those chores and activities are, what element you think there are associated with. Some of them will have more than one element associated with them, but put the ticks in the columns. And when you've finished your average day, you could even do it on a week if you wanted to include more things. Have a look at the columns and see which element column is longest, and see which is shortest. Is there a big difference? Are you doing lots of one element, not so much of another, or have you got them balanced out? I think it's really interesting to see, and it's also interesting to see the things that you have to do or that you need to do and how they relate to the element, and all those things that you like doing, and seeing which ones are shortest and which ones are longest. Because if you've got huge imbalance, then I do think it's interesting to have a look and see what you can do to bring about more balance to it. I think the more balanced we are with the elements, the better that we feel, really. It's an interesting exercise to do. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm not going to test you on it. I'm not going to give you marks out of 10 or anything, but you will get a gold star for actually doing the list, obviously, and you can reward yourself with a cake. But I think it's an interesting thing to do from the everyday point of view, because I think we forget that the elements are involved in absolutely everything. So interesting to do. So, you know, have a look, give it a go and see. But also have a look at places that you visit on a regular basis, and also places that you live. I am very lucky that I am on the edge of a city, so I have all the bonuses of a city. Like, are we keeping you up? You're a bit bored. Dog yawning behind me. I am on the edge of a city, so we have the bonuses of everything being around us, takeaways deliver. But we are 5 minutes from the sea and 5 minutes from fields. So I have got a nice balance, and we can choose. We can choose to just walk in the local area down to the local park, or we can choose to get in the car, drive 5 minutes and be at the ocean or be in the forest. But do have a look in your local area. Teresa says that's a great idea. I'm excited to do that process. Absolutely. Do give it a try and see how it all balances out for you. And Meg says, it's a fascinating way of looking at everyday activities. Well, that's the other side of it as well, isn't it? Because a lot of the everyday activities are boring, let's face it. So if you can add in, oh, I'm working with the element of earth, doing the dusting, you can add a little bit of magic into it as well, which makes it hopefully slightly more interesting. Leslie Ann says, making a cup of tea. We're so British, aren't we? It's such a traditional British thing to do. Making a cup of tea ticks everyone. Yes, heat, liquid, substance, aroma, and spiritual comfort. Perfect. Yes, we got that sorted, really, haven't we? Definitely, absolutely. See, I like chai tea too, so I'm adding in lots of different spices as well, which adds to it. Brilliant. Debbie says, thank you, I'm going to try this. It'll be interesting to see which element comes out on top. I live on the edge of a forest. Oh, perfect. So lots of earth and air elements. Yeah, you're in surroundings, and the surroundings that you live in will also have an effect on which element you're more connected to as well. So yes, definitely interesting to give it a try and see. But do have a look at the areas around you too, because obviously there are a lot of areas that are connected with the element of earth, specifically caves, We probably don't all live close by to any caves, but I think they're very primordial. They're very earthy. I think they also, for me, connect to the crone goddess specifically. Canyons, probably don't all live near a canyon, really, but because they are huge. Usually created over a very long period of time by erosion from running water. Forests, hopefully everyone has at least one tree. I know that's not forest, but you know, somewhere that you have a tree that you can connect with, whether it is a small tree in your garden or your park, or whether you have got a forest or woodland near you. Definitely very earthy places. Valleys as well. They often have a stream or a river running through the bottom. Fields and meadows, obviously. Fields, meadows, pastures, fens, all different types. They all have different uses, but basically a flat area with grass in it of different types. Very earthy, very, very earthy. What about farmyards, though? If you've got a farmyard near you, and there are all types of farms, arable, dairy, livestock, produce, or a combination of them, they've all got their own unique energies. Please don't wander about a farmyard without permission. They can be extremely dangerous places. Not only is it impolite and trespassing too, but they can be dangerous. But you might find a farm in your area that has a farm shop. Brilliant for buying local produce, which is another of my big passions, is to buy local produce and support local suppliers. But it will also give you that connection to earth by being in a farm. Gardens we've already talked about. Parks, even most cities have small parks, even if it's just a few trees and a bit of grass. It is a good place where you can connect with the energy of earth. And I think particularly in the cities and the towns, they're a bit sad. They can be a bit sad that if they are growing in the middle of a city, what they need is some love. So if you are in a city and you find a small park, it's a brilliant place to go and to connect with the trees and share your energies, basically, for sure. Debbie says, I retreat to my cave in the winter months, but it's only a spiritual one. Well, this is the thing. I'm describing all of these places, and if you haven't got them, a brilliant way to connect with them is to meditate. There are some meditations in my book. Look at that. I didn't even plan that. There are lots of meditations in here to connect with these specific places that I'm talking about. Meg says, caves are a great way to connect with the underground traditions and older mythologies. Absolutely. They are primordial. There is something very, very ancient about them, and definitely for underworld work. Absolutely brilliant. Alison says, I live in the forest. We have a canyon across town, base of a mountain. I never thought about how lucky I am because we live far from large cities. I think as well that is, isn't it? It is about being grateful and thankful for where you live and appreciating the area as well. So definitely. Lucia says, bricks are made from earth. Yes, so you can connect with earth through bricks. Clay is a fantastic medium to work with. So bricks, yes, don't rule out buildings, concrete buildings, brick buildings. Even if you are in a town or a city, you can connect with that energy of those buildings and connect with the element of earth. So yes, absolutely. Kitchens. I'm hoping all of us have got a kitchen. Brilliant place to connect with the energy of the element of earth and fire as well, and water. Absolutely brilliant places. That's, you know, it's my at-home place. It makes me feel very grounded and very secure. So kitchens for me are a very earth-centered place. Mines, again, not many of us have mines. But there are mines of all sorts, so they're very good to do with as well. Libraries we've covered, garden centres we've covered. Farmers markets, absolutely brilliant as well. Farmers markets and farm shops, really, really good to connect with the element of earth. Basements and cellars, we don't tend to have so many of them over here in the UK, but they are brilliant too. Crossroads, brilliant places for the element of earth. Heather says churchyards. Yes, absolutely. Churchyards, graveyards, all brilliant places to connect with the element of earth. So I encourage you to have a think about your local area, about the things that you do during the day and about the trips that you make out. Have a think about the elements that are connected with those places, and let's see how you get on. So my time is up for today. Do have a think about what I've said today. Do have a look at the book if you are interested, Element of Earth, published by Moon Books. Just think about the elements as a whole and how you connect with them and what you associate them with. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Do stick with us for today. This thread will finish shortly. Another thread will appear on the Moonbook Facebook talk at 12 o'clock, and we have pagan parenting panel. So we have 3 very fantastic people giving a talk about pagan parenting at 12. Stick with us every hour on the hour today on this Facebook page. Whole host of people, and then do join us again tomorrow. So thank you guys. Thank you so much everyone for joining me, and I will catch you later.